Now you can have this hot, straight out of the oven, like I've done here, or cold as cold cuts, which makes it one of the best dishes, I think, for this festive period, because it's everything you want. Sweet, it's tangy, particularly with that marmalade. It's not too sweet, it's just delicious. It's one of my favourites. OK, this might be the time of year for sharing, but with a succulent ham glazed in mustard and marmalade and a rich parsley sauce, I might just get a bit selfish.
Could eat all that.
Many of us have our own Christmas rituals and habits. How and when to decorate the tree, or even our choice of snacks for Santa. It's all about tradition. And that includes those classic seasonal dishes that we love to eat every year. I'm going to share with you some of my favourite Christmas recipes that are guaranteed to satisfy your festive family food cravings. On today's menu, my cured seasonal salmon. Looks like Christmas already, look at that. Over in Austria, they have their own traditions, and Annie Gray dives straight in.
Wow, quite an exciting way to get your Christmas dinner.
While back here, food legend Michel Roux drops in. No pressure then.
It's only Christmas once a year, so don't panic, OK?
I'm not panicking. Just happen to have a 3-star Michelin chef in my kitchen. There are some classics that should always be cooked in the same time-honoured way. But there's also a few that you can make your very own by adding just a simple twist or two. Now, if you're talking about classic dishes around Christmas time, this has to be on the list. It's a glazed gammon, a fantastic piece of ham with a lovely glaze on the top. Now, so often people just use a mixture of just honey and cloves. I'm going to incorporate other flavourings into this, like marmalade, and I think it works an absolute treat, and serve it classically with a parsley sauce. My gammon joint has been soaked in cold water overnight to remove any excess salt. So pop the ham straight into the pan, and then you can concentrate on the aromats. Some lemon, an orange, cinnamon stick, an apple, a little bit of onion, of course, and then to spice this up, just a touch of dry chilli. And then one thing that I absolutely love, star anise. This sort of aniseedy sort of flavour I think works so well with the gammon. So I'm going to put a few bits of star anise in there. Cover the ham with cold water, put it on to boil, and let it gently simmer for 2 hours. So the ham's ready. Now we need to pay attention to the glaze. And the glaze is really simple. It contains plenty of orange marmalade. This is what I used to have as a kid. Really good quality orange marmalade. So often it would be just done with honey, which is fine, but you'll find it can burn as well. I'm just going to peak on this up, spice it up a little bit with a bit of English mustard, and then pop in a few bits of star anise, only a couple. Now what I like to do first of all is just basically bring this gently to the boil. While you wait, you can prepare the cooled ham. Snip off the string that held it all together, and then decorate it with cloves. Once the glaze has come to the boil, pour away. As soon as this goes in the oven, you've got to keep your eye on it, because the amount of sugar in the honey and the marmalade, it can burn quite quickly. So set the oven quite high, 425, something like that. And then every sort of 3 or 4 minutes, take it out and just keep basting it. And as it cooks like that, it'll start to caramelise. It will only need about 20 minutes in the oven. Just enough time to prepare 2 things I love to serve with it. New potatoes and a classic parsley sauce. I say classic parsley sauce because you always start it off the same way as you do a classic bechamel sauce, which is milk and an onion cloute. It's one of the things that I learned at college. It's basically an onion, bay leaf, studded with cloves. And this is just to flavour the milk. Add the cloute to the pan and bring the milk to the boil. Take it off the heat immediately and allow the flavours to infuse. Next, melt some butter in another pan, add flour and whisk. Then pour in the milk, minus the onion, of course.
We're just going to let that simmer, and then we can pay attention to our ham.
Keep basting the joint with your glaze until the sugars start to caramelise. Mine isn't quite ready yet, so in the meantime, I'm going to enrich the parsley sauce. I'm adding a touch of lemon juice, some double cream, a handful of chopped parsley, and a final seasoning of salt and pepper.
Perfect. Then go back to the oven and check your ham again. How good does that look?
And it'll look even better on the plate with these. Boiled new potatoes tossed in butter and a little more chopped parsley.
Now you can have this hot, straight out of the oven, like I've done here, or cold as cold cuts, which makes it one of the best dishes, I think, for this festive period, because it's everything you want. Sweet, it's tangy, particularly with that marmalade. It's not too sweet, it's just delicious. It's one of my favourites.
OK, this might be the time of year for sharing, but with a succulent ham glazed in mustard and marmalade and a rich parsley sauce, I might just get a bit selfish.
Could eat all that.
Putting your own unique spin on a dish like this will delight your guests and get them in the mood to celebrate. But there are some Christmas classics that should never be messed about with. Joe and Richie Evans have taken one very old family recipe and used it to launch a successful seasonal business. When the rest of us are still enjoying our holes, they're heading to the kitchen to start preparing a dish that millions enjoy every December the 25th.
The women in my family have been making Christmas pudding for generations, and it's a nice tradition to carry on. That's why I enjoyed making Christmas pudding so much in the beginning, just for us. So when I was giving Christmas puddings to our friends and family, I would hear time and again that they were so much better than the supermarket version. They were like the puddings they'd had as a child or that their grandmother had made.
Finding a good pudding recipe can be a problem, but Joe and Richie must have solved it because they sell thousands of theirs every year. So pay attention.
It's a very traditional Christmas pudding recipe. We've messed around with it a little bit when we were making it for ourselves. We tinkered, but it's still very traditional.
To start, Joe pours syrup into a bowl of dried vine fruits, glacé cherries, candied peel and sugar. She then adds veg suet, grates some apple and carrot, and then stirs. If you fancy making this at home, remember you can always throw in some little extras.
A very common tradition is to put trinkets into your Christmas pudding. So a coin would bring you fortune, a thimble would mean you'd be a spinster for the year, a ring would mean you'd be married within the year.
Joe and Richie have found a dream marriage, mixing a successful business with raising a family. As she makes the puddings, he can concentrate on the kids.
These are the shells that we found on the beach today.
The work that we're doing at the moment enables us to spend more time with the children, and the beauty of the business is we can homeschool them now. We can spend as much time as we need to, really. Time does get a little bit tight towards Christmas, but it's still manageable at the moment, so we're very happy with it.
And the production of puddings can continue during lessons. Joe adds orange and lemon juice to the mixture, along with dried spices, flour, eggs and breadcrumbs. Then it's time for a drop of cider brandy and a splash of local stout before the whole family stir and make a wish.
Done? OK, Katie's turn then.
Thank you.
Should we move the bowl towards you a bit?
And don't make a wish.
You've got to make a wish, but you've got to keep it secret. Do you two want to fill your little ones? Here you are, Jack. Here you are, you can put that into the bowl.
Joe covers her puddings in foil, then ties them with string, ready to be steamed. 4 hours for the small puddings and 8 for the large. plenty of time to head back down to the beach.